Welcome into the Sports Objective here on a Wednesday night. We're having a lot of fun. Obviously, we're going to have a great show, right, Bubba?
Absolutely, Dave. Got a really jam-packed show tonight. 3 guests, and we're starting things off as you see there on the screen. If you're a member of the Pirate Club down through the years, this guy's been with the Pirate Club, or was with the Pirate Club, I should say, from 1991 until here just in the last few weeks. Welcome into the show, Mark Hessert.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It only took me retiring for me to get on the show, so I appreciate it, though.
No, you guys are always welcome. In fact, as a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons, a great reason to have you on, is the Pirate Club, because we believe in it strongly, and hopefully we can continue to grow. But obviously tonight we want to reminisce about. We'll talk about that, but reminisce about your amazing career. I mean, when you think about the Pirates, you think about all the success, about the coaches and players and staff. And I don't think a lot of people give enough credit to you. And there's Big Guy, and there's so many people there that are fixtures of the program. And so we want to have you on tonight. I can't believe it's been 30 years that you've been there. But I guess it's the people like you, the solid rock and foundation of the program. And you just automatically assume that you guys are going to be there forever.
Well, it's hard to believe. Blink, blink, and 30 years has gone by. So my son was 2.5 when we moved here. We're getting ready to turn 31, got his degree from ECU. His wife's an ECU grad, and they blessed us with 3 grandchildren. So I guess the gray hair show that I've been here a long time, but it's been, a lot of fun over the years, a lot of great victories, a lot of heartbreaking losses, and the most important thing, though, is, what the Pirate Club is all about are people. And the people that have the passion for ECU and particularly ECU athletics.
Now, Mark, you arrived at the right time. You were arriving to East Carolina just before the Peach Bowl season, right as that was getting underway. We were talking about that right before we went live. So just talk about your roots before we talk about you coming to Greenville, because you actually attended East Stroudsburg up in Pennsylvania, a small school, which is also the alma mater of Coach Bill Lewis.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a teacher and a coach. So, I had my high school basketball coach went there, and I thought I was going to follow in his footsteps, be a high school gym teacher and coach basketball for 30 years and do that. Ended up working in cardiac rehab, actually, right out of college, and then missed sports. So I went back and got my master's in sports administration. Ended up at the University of Akron, and then Dave Hart and the Pirate Club board hired me here in September of '91. Dennis Young came in. He did not hire me, so he got stuck with me right away. But Dennis started like September 5th, I think, and I came in the week later. September 12th was my first day.
Talk about that, the very thing of the Pirate Club, the last 30 years. What changes can you talk about? I know that we could be here for hours and hours, being 30 years, but what kind of changes have you seen? Tell Pirate Nation. There's people that are probably new to Pirate Nation, or maybe I can't believe I'm saying it because that's my era being in college, but 91, that's 30 years is a long time.
Yeah, I think most of it is very similar. It's just on, I would say, a larger scale in some respects. Our primary mission was to raise scholarship funds for student athletes. That's still the same it is today, and it's becoming more and more expensive to fund scholarships. Also to help with facility upgrades, and we started early on in '94. A shared visions campaign, expanded Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, renovated, Minges Coliseum with Williams Arena, onto the Murphy Center, onto opening up the club level in '99, opening up I know you're going to have Mark Minicozzi on here soon. I'm not quite sure his years that he was here, but, we opened up Clark LeClaire Stadium in '05. So, now Town Bank Tower, I guess with COVID, it was 2019. So a lot of it's very similar. I would say the most important thing really is is the same thing. We need the passion that we have for, I would say, a strong, group of people. For example, we have probably like 1,400 people in the Van Sant Society. That was named after Coach Van Sant. That's people who've given consecutively 25 years or more. But we need that next generation, to start coming along and help invest in the program. Everybody wants to cheer on a winner, but, it takes an investing in the program to help create that winner. So most coaches would tell you that.
Yeah, Mark, you had an excellent memory there. Excellent memory there as far as Mark Minicozzi. He was 2003 to 2005, and then he went pro after that 2005 season. So his final year with the Pirates was the first year in Clark LeClaire Stadium.
Okay. I have a picture here on my wall here right behind me of opening day. That was a great win over Michigan. So
no question about it, Mark. With certainly when it comes to one of the things that I want to see for the Pirate Nation and certainly for the program is the indoor practice facility. I know the reason I'm bringing that up is I know that how much those things cost and how hard it is to raise a lot of money. It's not, if it were easy, there would be a lot of Mark Hesserts out there, and especially when it comes to ECU, if it were that easy and we would be having this huge budget and having a whole bunch of things, on there. It's not that easy. How difficult do you think it'll be for Pirate Nation or the Pirates to get something like that, indoor practice facility?
Well, I think, John Gilbert's already investigating the different types of buildings that you can make an outdoor facility. It doesn't need to be a 40 million Taj Mahal. We've never really had those types of facilities here at East Carolina. We've always done more with less. So, they're already looking at some options that I think will be very doable. And I think people are now getting excited again about Pirate football. We're seeing last year, even in the COVID year, there was obviously improvement. We got 2 freshman running backs coming back that were awesome. Our quarterback situation is great. The coaching staffs, now have that experience, although we do have a couple new guys in. But, I think the really told Coach Shankweiler when he first came back, he had the toughest job is, those linemen. So, and you can't just grow those kind of bodies overnight. So, but that group is coming along very well. D lines, much improved. So I really listened to Coach Houston talk the other day at a board meeting, one of my last board meeting. And he had me fired up. I'm ready for football season. So I would just, again, issue the challenge to people is join the Pirate Club, buy your football season tickets, and get ready for getting rowdy and dowdy again. It's going to be fun.
No doubt about it. The schedule is fantastic.
Go ahead,
no doubt. Mark, taking a look back to that 91 season, it's certainly never easy to fundraise, but just talk about what it was like. I'm sure it had to be much easier with the success the Pirates were having on the field, and just what was it like behind the scenes with
Well, yeah, actually, I got started late in 91, so I was only here for football season. So I know, the toughest part at that time was just getting bowl tickets out to people to start with. Dave Hart told everybody, just order as many tickets as you want. Well, our fans, being our fans, did just that. They ordered like over 35,000 tickets. Only problem was we were only getting 19,000 from the Peach Bowl. So, we had Dennis and I and Jennifer Tripp, we were in our conference room, big piles of ticket orders all over the place, trying to cut those, cut this stack, everybody get -2 and just trying to get it down to where we could accommodate what we had. So that was the beginning of a lot of headaches right there to start with, but it was more than worth it. The result of the Peach Bowl. And again, winning does help fundraising. There's no question about that. I prided myself and our team, I guess, not me, but I was really involved with the annual giving program up through like 2014, and we had always raised one more dollar than the year before. So, and that's through some ups and downs. If you remember a couple of those years when we only won one or two. And so anyhow, but that's the biggest thing, is trying to get, even beyond the wins. It's easier when you are winning to raise funds, but trying to paint the big picture so that people, in California, Oregon, Hawaii, wherever they are, want to open up the newspaper and see East Carolina beat Carolina, or East Carolina beat State, or East Carolina beat whoever. It doesn't matter. They can be part of the program even from a distance. So we need that. We need that.
And Mark, one of the things I always tell people is that I've got my big screen back over here, and I have a lot of different subscriptions. But I tell everybody, if you can be a Netflix subscriber, then you can be a member of the Pirate Club. I think that there's a lot of times people think that you have to be like $1 million donor, these big donors, and not that we don't need them. And thank God for you, all of you that are watching and listening. But there's a lot of people out there. I wish that they would just take advantage of, $100 level. We need a lot of those folks, and there's thousands and millions of people out there that could be Pirate Club members actually at the $100 level.
Yeah, I think that's really the case. So less than $10 a month, if you do a monthly draft, then a lot of those add up over time. So and the people that actually physically can come to games and can do a little bit more, and want to try to sit and park in certain locations, certainly they do give a little bit more to earn that. But it's we have a lot of alums, and the good news is, between Pitt County and Wake County, a lot of our alums are in those two counties, and now with the roads being as they are, it's pretty easy to get here, even from Tidewater, Virginia, Fayetteville. I mean, it's a couple hour drive, but I mean, it's not like I grew up in Pennsylvania, where you see the RV caravans going into State College, on football weekends. But we just need everybody to do a little bit. And you're right. I mean, we don't have, don't get me wrong, we've been blessed by several major gifts, but it's more of everybody doing a little bit that adds up, and everybody buying a couple season tickets, that adds up. So,
Mark, kind of piggybacking off Dave's question and point regarding that $100 to $250 donor, just talk about down through the years, kind of a couple things. The advent of the young grad Pirate Club, and then also the student Pirate Club, and the challenges of once those students graduate and getting them to see the importance of joining, even though they may be so far away that they can't attend as many games as they would like.
Yeah, that has always been the idea, is to start them out in the kids club and then grow them up through, the student Pirate Club, the young grad program, and then, the regular Pirate Club. But, again, as kids get out of college and they start, getting the real jobs in life, and, buying cars and things like that, we try to make it affordable so that they can just maintain their continuity of giving. Again, back to the Van Sant Society, it's not how much, it's just the continuity of doing that. So even if it's $50, while you're going through the young grad program, we do give them discounted season tickets, discounted parking. So we try to do the things that keep them involved. And, other benefit about ECU that I've seen, I see it in my own family now. And, I would say we're kind of first generation Pirates in that respect. But, my wife's got 2 degrees from here. My son's got a degree, his wife, all of her family. My 3-year-old granddaughter can sing the fight song. When you go around tailgating, that's the fun time of the year, is just driving. I've always been fortunate to have a golf cart, and I can go all over the place, but just see the families. I mean, grandparents, great grandparents, all the way, it's just fun. It's a generational thing. And that's what makes East Carolina special.
And Mark, I wish we had more Rosenbaums out there, because that family, I told Bubba I didn't become a Pirate fan until I was 13 years old. So, and the same thing pretty much for Kyle, but as far as 2 of the 3 hosts, but Bubba was born a Pirate. And I think that's awesome. And then being Pirate Club members, that's one of the things I've tried to instill with my kids, raising them right. Both of them are in the Kids Pirate Club. Alexander and Mackenzie are.
All right, awesome. All right, get those T-shirts ordered.
Yeah, no doubt. As far as we're talking about facilities, while we're on that, we've been on that topic too. One of the things I know you talked about Williams Arena. What are some things that maybe we could do to raise money? I know at some point, not something we like to talk about, but it's been literally the time that I was a senior in college was when we started renovating Menzies Coliseum at that time, which thank God for, speaking of huge donors, Walter and Marie Williams. I love that family a lot. But the fact that we have Williams Arena at Menzies Coliseum, but we're looking at now where it's been a generation since we've had major upgrades to the basketball arena. Is that something that we're going to have to maybe down the line, like build a whole new arena, or is there some things we can do in the short term to really help improve it?
Well, I think you've seen some, minor things. They tore up all that tile flooring in the arena. It has more of an arena feel now. Certainly, the signage and things that have been added, to make it, more feel like a basketball arena. And really, I would say, one of the adding the practice facilities on was huge a couple of years ago. I mean, because everybody said, why don't you have a basketball program? Well, we never really invested in basketball like we have football and baseball. So, we finally got the practice facility in place. We just actually upgraded the men's locker room a little bit recently. Again, those are all the things that when you're a coach and you're recruiting, everybody's showing you their bells and whistles, and you have to have similar bells and whistles. So I think, again, just knowing, some conversations, John Gilbert is kind of formulating, and it's certainly in a rough draft form, and I don't want to say anything out of turn here. Of course, I guess I'm not working there anymore, so I don't know if I can, get in trouble, but seriously, John has a long-term vision. He has basically been working on drafts of facilities for all sports, not just basketball and the indoor facility for football, because an indoor facility for football will also serve multiple sports. They're getting ready to add an auxiliary strength and conditioning center out near the teams building, the kind of out in that area next to the maintenance facility and soccer stadium. And so a lot of the student athletes that are now out in that quadrant, can stay out there and work out a lot better, and just makes it more efficient for all the student athletes. So facilities are always going to be, one of the things that you're always going to have to invest in. So, we're trying to, raise our annual giving, to, fund the annual scholarship bill, raise our endowment to help also, funds, annual scholarships, and facilities are always going to be there across the board. We do have a great track. I think Coach Kraft was going to be on tonight.
He is.
Maybe. Yeah. They just had a great track meet. We have a really nice track facility, the soccer stadium, which now we just put in a practice facility for women's soccer and lacrosse next to the practice football field. Just again, you can't have all the wear and tear on one field. Softball stadium just was named after Mr. Joyner, Max Joyner Sr. family softball stadium. That's another relatively new facility. I say new, it's time flies. We opened up baseball in 2005, and here we are. It's 2021 already. But and those are things that we've had to do there. A lot of things that you don't see that are behind the scenes, but the pitching tunnel's been renovated. And now the Walter and Marie Williams, which you mentioned, the all-time favorite Pirates of all time, the Williams family, and the hitting facility that we've added there. So, again, over 30 years, I've seen a lot of growth, and it's just, fun to see things getting back. I think obviously Philip Rogers coming back as the new chancellor is a huge step in the right direction. I think we have the leadership in place across the board. We have the coaches in place across the board. Now we really need the fans to step up, and all these things that we're talking about that we need, they only come from one source technically, and that's people investing in the program. Either that's a $100 Pirate Club member or $1,000 Pirate Club member, something in between, and buying season tickets for all the sports that we sell season tickets to. That's kind of how we get there.
No doubt, Mark. And one of the things is that I'm kind of one of those guys, go big or go home. And, I got to a point where I keep giving more and more as I can because I really want to see our program, I hate the term, go to the next level. But when it comes to the great administration we have with John Gilbert, Ryan Robinson, all of you guys like at the Pirate Club, there's so many great coaches. When you talk about Philip Rogers, I think the whole university is headed in the right direction for sure. One of the things that bothers me, and I would just go ahead and say, is not for the East Carolina, but our university system, is I'm hoping the state legislature will change the rule about, I'm hoping that we could get some public money. There's a lot of states that we're competing against in America, and they get that money from the state. And I'm just hoping that maybe those of us that have a small voice as far as members of the media, I really think it's time that we take a look at that. It's been way too long. I told a story at Carmichael Auditorium was named Auditorium because at UNC, because that very fact. They were naming an auditorium and not a now arena. They've since changed the name for the ladies, but I'm just hoping that we can get that changed because it'll help you guys as far as the future of the Pirate Club and helping raise money. You look at for example, very happy with academics. The buildings are going up there, but we really need help athletically too.
Yeah, and again, if you look at the AAC, it's a very, again, we say a P6. We're a P6 conference. We are. Any one of our teams could go into a Power 5 conference and compete. So we just need our opportunities. East Carolina has, again, we were struggling a little bit before COVID, and COVID, just made it, extremely more difficult. But again, Pirates, we always fight. We'll overcome all the obstacles, and it's just going to take everybody getting in the boat and rowing in the same direction.
Mark, a few viewers are chiming in on Facebook. Bubba Grant, Bubba says the Pirate Club will never be the same without Mark Hessert. Congrats on a well-deserved retirement. And then you also have Sandra Clark chiming in. It says, hi, Mark. And then former East Carolina wrestler from back in the mid-'70s, Mike Radford of Wilson, says hello.
Mike Radford, if you're ever at baseball games right behind the dugout there, it's Mike Radford. Cheers.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate Bubba's comments and Sandra. So again, just a lot of the people that have made my time and my wife's time, my family's time here, special. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be around. We're going to help as much as we can, and I'm trying to continue to move forward here, and got my real estate license last year in kind of preparation for this time of my life, and just got to stay busy doing something. My hero, Mr. Williams, Walter, he was going into the office right up until the very end, just about. So you gotta stay working, and we're gonna continue to help the Pirates as much as we can over the next as many years as the good Lord keeps us here.
And Mark, we're talking about 30 years. Talk about the fact with your family living in Greenville. How much has Greenville changed for you over the last decades? Yeah,
when we got here, our son went to a daycare out on Fire Tower. Well, Fire Tower was like, 2 lanes, one lane each direction. Now you see what it's turned into. And so, yeah, it's just grown. The whole area has grown. And, it's a thriving area. There's a lot of our great, business people are doing a lot to grow the area. There's a lot going for it between the healthcare system, the educational system, between, the university. we all just need to be a partner in the whole process. That's, Pitt County, City of Greenville, the ECU, that triangle just needs to work together to keep growing the area. It's a great place to live and grow a family, and a lot of opportunities. So there's no reason that, we can't continue to grow. We just need to keep those roads, somehow growing as well, so the traffic's not quite turns into a Raleigh or anything. So.
Now, Mark, we talked about that memorable Peach Bowl season in 1991, but just talk about some of your other, there's so many memories over the course of 30 years in the big three sports or maybe otherwise, but what were some of your most memorable?
Oh, yeah, there are. And I don't know if my memory remembers them all. That's going to be the scary part. But no, right after the Peach Bowl, we had the back-to-back Liberty Bowl appearances with the second one where we beat Stanford and that dancing tree or whatever they call, that was fun. Who can forget the Floyd year? Really, as far as, again, emotion, it's been difficult to replicate the we believe or I believe. You can still hear that resonating in my brain from the Peach Bowl comeback. But how about 99 when we had to go to Raleigh as for a home game, play Miami and upset the Hurricanes there? That was another really emotional time. And in between there, I remember going to Richmond Coliseum as a 6th seed in basketball and upsetting and getting the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. A lot of different bowl games. The Hawaii Bowl, pops out, because of who we beat, Boise State. They had a lot of national claim to fame for some big bowl wins, and we went out there and knocked them off. Baseball, from, old Harrington Field with, Coach O and what he did to Coach LeClaire to both Coach Godwin's, Billy and Cliff. Regionals in Wilson, the super regionals in Kinston, to going on the road, to a lot of regionals and super regionals in baseball. And that doesn't even count all the personal relationships with a lot of the student athletes that were, part of different teams here, over the years. So it's, and coaches, it's been a great ride. That's for sure.
No doubt. When you're looking with all the different sports, that's one of the things that's great. You were talking about. Can you also mention for fans that don't know how many? It's several hundred athletes that we help with the Pirate Club with raising money where they wouldn't even have a chance or potentially not a chance to go to college. And I can't imagine how many athletes that you've helped raise the money for over 30 years. Is a lot.
Yeah, each year, we have over 400 student athletes when you add them all up. Now, some of those sports are what we call head count sports, like, football gets 85 full rides, men's basketball, women's basketball. Then the other sports, like Coach Kraft, if he's coming up here later on, he has a scholarship budget that he has to spread amongst a lot of student athletes. He has one of the largest programs here when you look at men's and women's sports in cross country, indoor track, and outdoor track. So he's got quite a program, and he has to kind of spread his scholarship funds over a lot of different student athletes.
No question about it, Mark. Is there anything? By the way, before we let you go, you actually, I think people will know your hometown very well. We found out right before the show started. Really cool to be from that town.
Yeah, I grew up. My wife and I are from Williamsport, Pennsylvania area. She actually grew up in South Williamsport, where technically that's where the Little League World Series is headquartered. Her grandfather was actually an umpire back in the day in the Little League World Series. So it was pretty cool when we came here. My son was 9, and one of the teams, the 98 team, made it, to all the way to Williamsport. And then just recently, a couple years ago, another one of our teams made it all the way to Williamsport. And we've had, Greenville Little League is a very, very competitive, successful Little League program. The community gets behind it. It's a a lot of great memories from those 4 years of Little League. That's for sure. In fact, last year, before the whole COVID breakout, we got to host the softball World Series here coming up. And Steve Keener, who's the CEO of Little League Baseball, he and I grew up together. So it was good to see him back here in Greenville, announcing that Greenville was going to be the home for the softball World Series for the next 5 years, and hopefully more after that too.
Absolutely, looking forward to that. Hopefully, taking place later this summer. Now that the pandemic's more under control. But Mark, the final thing I'd have for you, just over the course of your 3 decades in Greenville, reflecting back on things, down through the years, there were some very good incentives that the Pirate Club has done. So maybe it's something that we've already done that was very successful, or maybe something that you didn't get the opportunity to implement that you maybe would have liked to. What's a thing or two that you think would be effective moving forward?
Well, really, I think one of the things that we used to do is we always had the 110% campaign, and what became almost like a natural thing where everybody kind of thought, they needed to give 10% more than they gave the previous year. And, that was just, we used to have a series of lithographs, that we would do. It's just, some of them were pretty awesome. Junior Smith, 1 year, who was a career reading lusher, and he autographed his. We had Jeff Blake back in the day when he was with the Bengals. He personally autographed those for folks. So, some of those types of things I wish we would, consider getting back to. But, I think, again, that's for the next generation to come along and think of those types of incentives, if you will. I guess hopefully the biggest incentive is, people are passionate about ECU, passionate about Pirates, whether that's football, baseball, basketball, or any of the other sports, and that they want to give as much as they can, and understand that, we're just one of the charities that they support, but we're an important part of the cog here in the economy of Eastern North Carolina. That's the other part of being the investment from the business community is. And we've kind of been letting them down a little bit lately, obviously, with football struggling the last couple of years. Again, that's changing, but it is a partnership here. Again, the university in Eastern North Carolina, we all need to work together to make it the best it can be.
And Mark, I got a few lithographs for you, okay? And we'll give you like 3 that come to mind.
Well, listen, David, I had to clean out my office, okay? Now, I did move offices about maybe 4 or 5, 6 years ago. Okay. So, and I never really got to put everything back up on the walls that I had in my other office, but it took me like 2 carloads plus to get everything home. And now my wife is kind of saying, okay, what are you going to do with all this stuff? So I got some of it up on the walls now. I need to go buy some shelves so I can decorate my home office now. So.
Yeah, Mark. Sorry, Dave. I had a little bit of a delay there. You're bringing up Ward Sports Medicine Building. I remember, I guess I think 8 years old when Ward opened sometime in 1989, and it's crazy the facelifts and the renovations that Ward Sports Medicine Building has received over the years.
Yeah, really. I mean, again, I think that opened up right before I got here in 91. I think people said it opened like in 88, 89, somewhere in that time. But, just like your house, you need to, invest in it and keep it, up in good shape. And, we've been able to do things. If you remember back in the day, the weight room used to be where all the football coaching offices are now, with where all the teams, linebackers room, wide receivers room, that whole wing there. So yeah, it's you gotta, again, just keep growing. If you're not growing, you're getting, somebody's moving by you real quick. So
no doubt about it. In fact, I was going to say for those listening right now, the regional, and we're hosting our first super regional. When we win that in Greenville, that would be a great lithograph. Going to Omaha, great lithograph. Going back to the the big dance, great lithograph. And how about not only a bowl appearance, but New Year's Six appearance, I think, with Coach Mike Houston. I think that'll be a great lithograph. So for the
Well,
future
Dave,
Pirate,
you got the next 4 or 5 years all lined up. So I hope somebody's
exactly.
listening and taking notes.
Exactly. I'm that confident that we're going to do that, and certainly here in the short term and not the long term, we'll go ahead and get it done. Mark, thank you so much. I know that I looked at the time and we've been reminiscing, and I appreciate everything that you did for the Pirate Club. There's a lot of people out there that that I represent, Pirate Nation. We want to thank you for 30 years. It's hard to believe that time went by that fast, but definitely a long time. And we need more Mark Hesserts out there that can raise money for the Pirate Club, plain and simple.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, and it's kind of been a labor of love. There's been some heartaches along the way, no question, but the good always, has been on the better side of things. So a lot of great memories, and as we talked about tonight, there's a lot of great memories and a lot of great memories to be made yet. So hopefully Pirate Nation will jump on board the pirate ship, because we're getting ready to take off again. So
no doubt, and hopefully we can get you back on maybe in the fall. Certainly love to have you back on the show, and don't be a stranger to Pirate Nation. We'd love to have you back here very soon.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll take you up on that.
All right, have a good one. Mark Hessert, appreciate him very much. And it's kind of like, hey, Bubba, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but it's kind of like we had Mike and Mike in the morning. We can have Mark and Mark in the morning, or maybe Mark and Mark at night, as we have now with us a very special guest, right?
Absolutely. Welcome to the show, the Water Buffalo. How are you, Kaz?
What's going on, guys? I'm doing well. You?
No doubt. Appreciate, first of all, for those listening and watching, appreciate your sponsorship of the show, certainly with pgxgloves.com. I know it's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're very excited to have you aboard with us. And I actually ordered my son, I ordered some batting gloves for him and some other swag before that. And so I sat her down and I said, look, I want you to pick this out, because of you being a girl, it's easy for me to pick out a boys thing. And so she picked out I want to tell fans to make sure they go by pgxgloves.com. She picked out the Eye of the Tiger.
I think the
gloves.
Tiger one's Youth Small. Yeah, I put it together on Monday, I think it was.
Yeah, and that's her favorite animal is a tiger. So that's nice. and red's her favorite color. So she picked out for the personalized thing. But I want to remind fans to go to pgxgloves.com, and you got tremendous stuff. I know that you're on with us, but the stuff is fantastic, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, getting our stuff out and, being a part of it. You guys are, East Carolina, and, the whole program is a part of this company, and, it's sort of where I started from. So, I try to do everything to the best I can and give a high quality product for, all the kids out there.
No doubt about it. There's folks in Greenville Little League, or in my case, Williamston Youth Baseball, certainly, or the Parks and Rec locally for softball. Take advantage of, we have a promo code that you can put in there for pgxgloves.com, and simply capitalize ECU and get 25% off. That was generous of you, Kaz, to do that. But I want more and more people to take advantage of that, because it's quality items and you get a great price.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's talk about, I know we've had you on before to talk about your career, but you recently, we'll work our way back maybe a little bit, but tell folks the good news. Very excited to hear you're a manager now, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy news. About 6 weeks ago, I think I told Bubba, it's like, hey, nothing can be said because it's not official yet. But yeah, I will be managing a professional league, the Atlantic League, which is an independent ball league, primarily AAA, ex-AAA Major League players trying to get back to the big leagues. So you got the call. I actually rejected the offer initially. I got a call about it, and they're like, hey, would you want to manage? And I was actually like, no, I'm sort of good. I like sitting in my backyard during the day, and I got a 5-month-old baby. I don't know. And I got a call about a week later, and they're like, okay, we'll rephrase this out. how are we going to make you the manager? So, it was just an amazing opportunity. One of my really good high school friends owns the team, and the management group that came in, I've worked with them with PGX for the last 3 years, and they were the owners of the Richmond Flying Squirrels, which I played for 2 years. So, it was sort of like, I couldn't pick two better people to work for and to work with than those two guys. So, it was just a perfect scenario to have this opportunity. And it was something I sort of wanted to do later in my career. But, when something like this comes to you, it's sort of tough to let it go by. So I'll be managing in about 6 weeks. We start spring training.
Now, Kaz, talk about, didn't they sweeten the deal a little bit for you in addition to your managerial duties?
With what?
As far as your ability to the input as far as compiling your roster and so forth.
Yeah, I get a lot of the on-field baseball GM duties. So I was able to bring in my, before I actually agreed to it, I said, hey, I have a set of coaches that I'd like to bring in. It's, not your typical indie ball coaches. I want to bring in some really experienced, some of the best coaches in baseball. And, just sort of the insight that I had taking the job, being an expansion team. I didn't want to come into it with an expansion roster. I wanted to be able to compete immediately. And, they gave me that freedom. I make the decisions on the roster. I make the decisions on the coaches. I will be, unfortunately, have to release guys and re-sign guys. And, I'm on the phone all day with guys if they're signing in Japan, guys if they're signing in Mexico, so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience. I'm glad we have unlimited phone plans now because I spend a lot of time on my phone. I'll say that for sure.
Now, Kaz, let's start with your coaching staff. Talk about the staff you've assembled.
Yeah, I brought in my hitting coach is Kenny Joyce. Kenny Joyce has, I think, 30 years of coaching experience. He is like the minor league version of Andy Reid in football. He has about 25 guys who are either major league, AAA, or AA hitting coaches, either in the big leagues. Some of the best hitting coaches in the game have either played for Kenny or have learned from Kenny. So he spent multiple years in the fall league. He still has, he gets video from Bryce Harper and Mike Trout when they're struggling of, what they need to do and change. So I actually reached out to him initially to ask of potential coaches that would suit our team real well. And within that month, he had actually got let go by the Yankees. So it was almost perfect on that end. And then our pitching coach is Paul Menhart. Paul Menhart 2 years ago was hosting a World Series trophy for the Washington Nationals. He was the major league pitching coach, was a big reason they won the World Series that year. And he was the first guy I called, and a lot of people are like, "You're crazy. The guy was in the majors last year." And I was like, you go big or go home. You got to ask the best first. Why not ask the best first? And I was able to sweet talk Paul into coming on with us, and he's actually had a couple offers to go and go back into affiliated baseball, and he's going to stay with us for right now until the right opportunity emerges with a big league club. So it's pretty awesome to have two of the best coaches in the game. Being a rookie manager, you want two guys to be able to lean on with 50 plus years experience. I know when I have a decision to make on pulling a guy or keeping a guy in, it's pretty nice to be like, hey, you made a decision if Max Scherzer is going to stay in or not, so here's a guy who I can lean on that in that kind of aspect. So it's really exciting to have those guys on my staff.
Because it says a lot about you, because when you think about all the coaches at East Carolina, the really good ones, they were able to put together a great staff. So that sounds like you're going to have a great season. I know you were talking about expansion, but sometimes expansion teams do very well. You look at Las Vegas a few years ago in hockey. They're barely They did help with the supplemental draft and everything, but we can look all throughout sports, and these expansion teams now are winning faster than they used to.
Yeah, it's sort of tough. Last month we got announced, so we're a little behind the 8 ball on signing guys. Most teams already have 18 to 20 guys on their roster, but it was sort of a benefit for us almost. I was able to, go through a lot of the guys I had played with in my career, or, they were young prospects or just getting to the big leagues as I was ending my career. So it's a lot of guys on that, flirting with that 30 or 35-year-old kind of age bracket where they're getting sort of pushed out of Major League Baseball. And, it was a great opportunity to I get to have a lot of my old teammates are now players. So it's exciting. I think we're going to compete right off the bat. I think we have 15 players signed right now, and I think we have 11 of them played in the major leagues. So it should be a pretty I know with some of the announcements that are coming around in the league, we're starting to make some waves of people like, oh, wow, West Virginia's for real. So it's exciting. It's exciting to we have a couple more big signings coming up here in the next 2 weeks. So I can't really talk about them, but we have some pretty big names coming to West Virginia. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun year.
Now, Cos, Appalachian Power Park, at least I'm assuming that's what the ballpark is still named. That's a park that East Carolina fans are very familiar with because that's where ECU was played Marshall down through the years back when we were in the same league.
That's my new home. That's my new office.
Cos, as far as you're talking about, are there major league players that former experience that you talked about? Are there ones that you can talk about now that maybe the fans, the folks listening right now would know?
Yeah, one of our reliever pitchers is Gene Machi. Gene Machi played with the Giants, won a World Series with them. If you look at it, it's almost you have to double take when you look at his career numbers. His major league career numbers over 5 years. He's been 13-2 with 6 saves and a 3.4 ERA, which is pretty incredible to do that over 5 years in the majors. He's a big notable name. Jimmy Paredes played 5 years in the big leagues, was in Baltimore for a little while with the Phillies. He's going to be playing some third base, playing some outfield. Trying to think who we signed that I can say.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get you.
I'll get in a lot of trouble. I posted one the day before we did, and they got yelled at real quick. So Reimer Liriano is an outfielder who I played against. He played a little time in the big leagues, like 2 years in the big league, 3 years in the big leagues. He is one of those, man, he walks up to the plate and you just are like, oh, man. As a third baseman, I was like, man, please don't hit it at me, because the guy just, I guess in the new age of baseball, his exit velocity is like 100 plus every time he hits it. So he's one of our outfielders that we'll have. Pitching wise, who can we say? Let me think. We signed Rob Whalen, who pitched with the Mets, pitched with the Seattle Mariners. He signed with us. He's a relatively young guy. He's 27. So we have a good amount of guys who have, a couple years in the big leagues, either, been out with COVID. A lot of guys don't have jobs. So we'll probably announce a couple more guys that people that, probably belong in the big leagues, not even in AAA, that will be with us to start the year. So
now, Cos, when you got hired, I know we were joking off the air as far as you have Randy Mazey up at West Virginia doing an excellent job with the Mountaineers. Just talk about that. Talk about that. I know you had to call and let him know who was coming to West Virginia as well.
Yeah, I had to. The first when I got there, I mean, that's a relationship we want to have at West Virginia, being one of the main teams there. So yeah, I actually called Randy, and I was sort of surprised. I got the voicemail the first time, so I said, "Hey, I'm looking for the second best manager in West Virginia. I think it's Randy Mazey. So just give me a call back. It's Cos." So about 30, I got a text about 15 seconds later. He's like, "Cos, I'll call you back. What the hell's going on?" And he was really excited. He's going to be out. We're going to try to do something where Randy's going to probably, we're hoping, coach third base or maybe be the manager for a night or a weekend during the season. So it's pretty exciting to, you see how your career, your places you've gone, comes full circle. There's it's pretty cool. It'll be pretty cool to be managing with my old coach,
Hey, now, Kaz, make sure your team does what the 2004 team does or did, excuse me, and and gives Coach Maisie a nice shove in the back.
Oh man, I might go get some brass knuckles or something for that one. No, yeah, man, those times, that was one of the most fun times. I think we should have Cliff do that, don't you think? He should run back and all the players should get it going. That would be awesome.
You're on mute, Dave.
Sorry, I had hit it twice again. I have an idea for a promotion for you. When you have Paz, why don't you have a jean shorts night?
Oh man, I guarantee we might have Randy coach third base in jean shorts, because you can get away with that in West Virginia. That's actually a very trendy look there.
No doubt. Speaking of Cliff, what do you think about the Pirates? I know you're a great Pirate, and team now this week number 8 in the country. Something to be very proud of. What do you think, being a former player, about how great the Pirates are playing this year?
Oh, it's exciting. I mean, they have the group that, I don't want to say anything, but they have the team, man. They have a good group. I mean, they really haven't even, I've watched here and there, and they haven't even really played up to their full potential. They've actually probably played below what they can be. And, right. Good teams win when you're not playing at your best. And I mean, man, being 8th in the country right now, I know Cliff is all about, focus on the next day, which is so huge. I know in college, I think we got up to 3rd at one point, and that was like back in our day, you run into the computer lab because we didn't have cell phones. And I was like, let's go check Baseball America on, I think it was Tuesday at 2, it came out. And that was like a huge deal for us. But, he has those guys locked in on the objective, one game at a time. I mean, man, they got great starting pitching. They got veteran guys in the back of the bullpen, and they just got armed for days. And man, you watch some of those younger kids. I mean, you got freshmen, sophomores, or juniors, whatever you call them now, and with the COVID. But man, the guys can hit throughout the lineup. It's really exciting. It'll be really cool to see in the next, couple weeks as the team comes together and puts together. Man, that pitching staff and you have guys like Colmore and Bridges still in the back of the bullpen. Man, that's a luxury to have guys like that who've had that experience, who've been in big games. That wins and loses those big games when you get to, playoff time.
Now, Kaz, yesterday I was listening to an interview with first base coach Jeff Palumbo, and he was just talking about, with the 4-game series and no midweek games for the next 2 months or so, just how difficult that is on a hitter, going 4 to 5 days without seeing live pitching a lot of times. Just from your perspective, a guy who, played in super regionals and played professional ball, just talk about that and what that is like, just going that many days and then getting your eye back to see 90 plus.
Yeah, I mean, these days, I mean, they have every machine and possible thing to keep you going, but that I'm sure there's inner squatting or having guys throw and trying to do more of a live simulated. It is, you don't want to lose that rhythm and timing, and man, when you're starting to put it together, you don't want to have those days off. You want to keep on playing. When you're feeling good, it's like, when's the next game? We can't play tonight again. Like it's one of those things once you start feeling good, but it's probably after they played 5 games last week. It's probably nice to at least get the arms a little rest and, keep those arms healthy. Cause man, that they got a luxury with that pitching staff this year.
And before we let you go, Kaz, talk about when's the season opener for you guys? I know it's coming up. You said it was at 5 or 6 weeks?
May 28th is our season opener. So we go to camp May 18th. We have a 10-day spring training. Most of the guys are either training or in minor league camp right now. So We start in about 5 weeks, and the season May 28th will open our season, and I'm excited. And my career, I think I played 3 games in my entire career in Charlotte. I never really got to play in any other minor league city, so I'll get a coach in Gastonia and High Point this year. So it's pretty cool to get back into North Carolina, where, man, my whole career I really didn't get a chance to be there, and I'm excited to, I got to wear it as a player. I'm excited to be able to represent that 23 on my back in the coaching. We have, man, through East Carolina, we have some incredible coaches that wear it, on the college scene with, Cliff and Backage and, Schnabel and Bryant Ward. So it's really an honor. It's going to be exciting for me to be able to sort of be a newer generation, to be able to wear, being that last year with Coach LeClaire. It's, it's really an honor. I'm really excited to be able to wear that number and represent it well.
Now, Cos, what's the name of the team in Gastonia? And that's only about 50 minutes from me. I'll have to come check y'all out if it aligns with whatever we have going on at the time.
The Honey Badgers, I think it is.
That's it. I knew it was something pretty unique because one of my friends that lives down in Belmont, which is right there near Gastonia, was telling me that about the Honey Badgers. It made me think, of course, of Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, they'll be an interesting team. We should put up some big runs against them. I'll tell you that.
Looking forward to it. Would love to. If you can send us some stuff, we can put it up on our social media so fans can easily follow you guys. And definitely looking forward to a great season. And definitely want to have you back on during the season and maybe postseason to get your thoughts on how things are going.
Absolutely. Go Pirates.
All right, man. Thanks, Kaz. Appreciate you very much.
See you guys.
All right, bye. PGXgloves.com. Appreciate Kaz for all that he does for us. And we were talking about great coaches. We're talking about Cliff Godwin. We've talked about Coach Mike Houston alike. And Bubba, here's another one of our favorites coming on the show again with us.
Absolutely. The Bill Carson Invitational was last weekend, and the Pirates defeated UNC Wilmington in the men's and women's events. And right now, welcome back into the program, Coach Curt Kraft. Coach, how are you?
Oh, good. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You sound fantastic as always. One of the things that Bubba and I always talk about you, Coach, is it seems like that when we're going to different sporting events, in addition to being a D1 track coach, you're at it seems like as many other sports that you're supporting the other coaches, the other athletes that are outside of your sport. It's really cool. And that's one of the things we've always liked about you.
Well, thank you, Dave. Yeah, that's one of the things that, I pride myself in is if we're Pirates, then we should be supporting each other. So I always, go out and support Coach Dooley in basketball and go to the home football games and go to the soccer matches. I'm good friends with Coach Hamilton. I went out and saw CC Buford this weekend out at Ironwood. The women's golf team had their home tournament. And then Andrew Sapp's a good friend of mine. They had their home tournament a few weeks ago out at Brook Valley. So I think that's really important for us to make sure that we're showing our faces and supporting those other student athletes. And my kids are growing. So my wife kicks me out of the house and, I have nothing better to do.
Well, being a D1 track coach, you've got a lot on your plate. So I'd say that takes a lot of your time too.
We've got about close to 80 athletes on our team between men and women. So we're the second largest squad on the campus. So it does keep us hopping. I've got great help. I've got 5 full-time assistants. So that really helps when it comes to managing the people. But what I am is I'm a manager. I'm a manager of student athletes. I'm a manager of assistant coaches. And that can be challenging at times. So not only am I coaching men, I'm also coaching women. And, that would be like Coach Godwin coaching the softball team at the same time that he's coaching the baseball team. So if you could imagine coaching one inning of softball and one inning of baseball and one inning of softball and one inning of baseball. Well, that's what we do in track and field, is that there's that balance between making sure that you're treating the men and the women equal. And there's a very fine balance of how you talk to them and what you do. So it's a pretty unique challenge.
Yeah, Coach. Earlier today, I was talking to Memphis head baseball coach Darren Schoenrock, previewing this weekend's series at Clark LeClaire Stadium, and Coach Schoenrock was just talking about, and we were talking about all the protocols and testing and so forth, and how, and with his experience and folks he had talked to, some athletic trainers, and were leaving the business because of everything they were going through in the current environment. So just talk about, with a roster of your size, how regular is the testing and for the track and field team, and all the protocols you have to be following?
Well, we're doing the same thing everybody else is doing. In the fall, when we weren't competing, we were doing what's called surveillance testing. It was just kind of a random type thing, so it wasn't on a weekly basis. But now that we're in competition, everybody on the entire track and field team is being tested once a week, and it's got to be within 72 hours of your competition. So, for example, this weekend we go to the University of South Carolina on Saturday, and we're going to, we normally would have tested on Wednesday, but in this case we test on Thursday. You want to test within that 72 hours is what the COVID rules are. So they have to go up to the Murphy Center and they have to get that PCR test, and then the results are back the next day. But it is challenging. Something as simple as loading a bus, Bubba, and Dave, it's not the same anymore. We got to load the front of the bus last. We got to load the back of the bus first. You have assigned seating. The person you sit with on the bus is also the person that you room with in the hotel. There's no eating on the bus. There's no drinking on the bus. Your mask is on the whole time. And the reason we do that is for contact tracing. So if somebody was to test positive, the whole bus wouldn't get shut down. It would just be the people that were around you. So, but to answer your question, Bubba, yes, it's getting really, really tiring. It's getting old. We can't wait to get back to normal, but we are testing just like everybody else on campuses.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about I love the event, the Bill Carson Invitational results. He was the track coach for many years, and of course, the track coach when I was there. Can you talk about the results from last weekend with Bill Carson Invitational?
Yeah, first of all, Dave, Bill Carson, as we know, was the legendary track and field coach here at East Carolina University for over 4 decades. His wife was out there this past Saturday. We recognized her. We talked about her. She got up and took a bow to the crowd. But Coach Carson was here for an awful, awful long time. And you don't see that anymore this day and age. Coaches staying in one place for that long. So what we decided a number of years ago, I guess this was the 7th annual, we decided to name a meet after him because of his legendary status. So hence it's called the Bill Carson Invitational. And we had the meet this past weekend, and that was even a little different than what we were used to. We couldn't host an invitational. My athletic director, my administration would not allow multi-team competitions. So baseball, as you guys know, when we played the Keith LeClaire Classic this year, was just one team versus 3 others. Softball couldn't have any invitationals. They had the one team. So we could only do one team, and we invited our neighbors, UNCW, to the south of us, and it was a wonderful meet. Beautiful weather. It got hot in the afternoon. It was a little chilly in the morning. We could have limited fans. We only had 300 fans that showed up, which were all of our student athletes' parents. We had a senior day. So the whole event, the pageantry, if you will, was really, really, really nice. And it's always my favorite time of the year. These student athletes get a chance to compete in front of their parents, their professors, family members, brothers, sisters. So we're unique in that we only have one event. Baseball has 30, 40 home games. Basketball has 17, 18 home games. Softball has many home games. Soccer has many home games. We have the one event, so we try to make it special. And it went really, really well this weekend. So great event.
I know the women were victorious 121-60 over the Seahawks. So if you would highlight a few of the individual standouts there.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Bubba. On the men's side, first of all, the face of the program, without a doubt, is a kid by the name of Ryan Davis. He's from Pine Forest High School in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And for those of you that don't know a whole lot about our sport, he throws the hammer, and the hammer is, it's not a hammer that you pound the nail in, guys. It's a hammer with, it's a 16-pound ball at the end of a piece of wire. And so he's one of the top 5 kids in the country in the hammer. He has set the school record already this year in the discus and the hammer. He had a great meet at South Carolina a couple weeks ago. We go back there this weekend. But Ryan is one special kid. He's a COVID senior, if you will. He could have left after last year, but he decided that he wanted to come back and finish this thing out. And he is doing it just unbelievably well right now. So he didn't have an indoor season. All he had left was an outdoor season. But Ryan is just a phenomenal athlete. So he's the face of the program on the men's side. And we have some other great individuals. I don't want to minimize what we're doing there. But on the women's side, some of the names that stand out. We've got some good senior leadership. We've got a gal by the name of Dania Freeman from Maryland. We've got a girl by the name of Naomi Whitaker from Virginia. We got a gal by the name of Lindsay Jens from Virginia. We've got a gal from Florida by the name of Rebecca Berquist. Our women's team is a very balanced team across the board. 21 events in track and field outdoors. Our women cover all of the events outdoors. So we have sprinters, we have throwers, we have jumpers, we have hurdlers. So across the board, a balanced team. On the men's side, we're a little bit thin. We don't have the numbers that we do have on the women's side, and that's because of gender equity in Title IX. So very balanced program. We're looking to do some neat things at the conference championships, and that's a five short weeks away. Our listeners, if they're listening, we didn't have an indoor season. They canceled our American Athletic Conference track and field indoor championships. The ADs and the commissioner canceled it because of COVID. So we're behind. So we didn't have a chance to prep like some of these other schools did. I'm not making an excuse, but we didn't get a chance to prep like some of the other league schools. So we're missing a lot of time, missing a lot of reps. The rhythm isn't quite there, but we'll be ready, when we go to USF.
Now, Coach, taking a look at the schedule, you talked about how you were in Columbia a week and a half ago for the Weems Baskin Invitational, and
Yep.
then I also noticed you've mentioned April 10th on this Saturday, and then also April 17th you're at the USC Open. So 3 trips to Columbia, is that a product of COVID?
Bubba, great question. Yes, it is. I'm good friends with Coach Curtis Fry. He used to be here many, many years ago with Bill Carson. Curtis Fry is in our Hall of Fame here, as you guys know. But long story short, we're friends, and it's a short 4-hour drive to Columbia. When you don't stop to eat, it's a quick 4 hours down and a quick 4 hours back. You get down on 95, and I think you go over on 20 or 26. I forget which one it is, but it's a very close, very convenient place to compete. The weather's usually good. It's a little bit further south than us, obviously. They've got a wonderful track. They've got great competition. So we just thought, because of the bubble, to try to keep it normal, or try to keep it, I should say, routine, that we decided to go there 3 times. And then we're going to go to North Carolina A&T the last weekend in April. So I think it takes care of everything under one roof. You got great SEC competition. You got a great track and field facility. It's a very short distance from Greenville. So when you put all those together, it adds up to, just a great place to go.
No doubt, Coach. And then after that, you'll have, I know, the American championships coming up. Do you have some folks on the men's side or women's side that you think will do there? I know that's still the season going on, and those of us who are fans in the media will ask those kind of questions to a coach. But do you feel like there's some standouts that'll do very well there?
Absolutely. That's the one thing we do, Dave, and it's the same for all of our sports. Obviously, our goal is to do the best you can at our conference championships. That's our measuring stick. Where we live, the world that we live in at East Carolina University, is we get tested at our conference championships. So we're measuring ourselves against the rest of the league. And don't get me wrong, obviously we'd like to, be represented at the national level with all of our sports, but we're tested at the conference level, as you know. I mean, our football league is very good. Our men's basketball league is very good. Our women's basketball league is very good. Across the board, this is a great conference. So to your question, we go down there in about 5 weeks, and Houston just dominates the men's and women's side, both on the men's side and the women's side, track and field. Wichita has a very, very good team. Cincinnati has a very good team on both sides. UCF, USF. There's a lot of warm weather track schools in this league. If you look across the map, UCF is in Orlando, USF is in Tampa, Houston, SMU is in Dallas, Tulane is in New Orleans. A lot of these schools are southern Sunbelt type schools, so they have an advantage with the weather over us during the winter months. Obviously, you got your northern schools with Temple and Wichita, Kansas in the middle of the country. But by and large, those teams are very, very good teams. And we've always been competitors. We've been very competitive in our league. The highest finish we've ever had was at Cincinnati in 2018. We were second on the women's side. But we're usually a top 6 program on the women's side. And on the men's side, what we're looking for there is individual success from individuals, not necessarily the team. So, but we're excited to go to USF in a few weeks. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid.
And no question about it, Coach. One of the things I know about you is you're a great recruiter. With COVID hurt, I know that coaches that, like all of us, don't like to use that as an excuse, but I know that's had to hurt you a little bit with not being able to get players in, and you have all these Zoom. I guess it's good for us. We can do Zoom meetings, or we can in the media. It's been good for us, but not for coaches and players, right?
Oh, Dave, it's been an entirely different world, and we still can't go out and recruit. We're still in a dead period. We have been in this dead period now for well over a year. It's been 13 months, going on 14 months.
Wow.
When COVID hit last March of 20, the NCAA shut everybody down. I don't care if you were Alabama football,
Right.
if you were Baylor men's basketball, or if you were ECU track and field men and women, and everything in between. So Nick Saban and myself, neither one of us can go out and recruit. And that's in place up until May 31st. And then after May 31st, then they'll make a decision on what they want to do next. But we can't go out at the schools. We can't go out to state track meets. We can't go out and see parents and homes. And that's for, like I said, not to be redundant, that's the same rule that Nick Saban has and the same rule that we have. So we're doing what we're doing here tonight, Dave. We're doing Zoom calls. I just had one the other night. We were on the phone with a young lady from the University of Albany. She's in the transfer portal. And we were doing this Zoom thing with her high school coach and her father and myself and Coach Cheek. So it's just weird, man. It's not what this is about. You're supposed to wine and dine them here, show them around, go to Mellow Mushroom, eat, go to the football game. But now kids are signing, sight unseen. They're not even seeing the facilities. And if they are, they're seeing them through virtual. So I can't wait to get back to showing a parent and their kid around campus and taking them down on campus and taking them through the student union. And so I think that'll come sooner than later.
Yeah, Coach, you're talking about the process being weird. East Carolina head football coach Mike Houston was talking about in his post-practice remarks within the last couple of days how zoomed out he is. And just the month of June, when there are going to be official visitors allowed on campus, he said it's absolutely chaos trying to get those official visitors lined up, and then also just the camps that ECU football will be having. Those are going to be slam packed.
Yeah, it's like what's an analogy here? We're pent up. You've heard that word over this whole pandemic. The country's pent up. University athletics is pent up. So I think, the economy's pent up. So I think that as this stuff gets back to normal, we're going to be so appreciative because we took it for granted before. And so once this thing gets into full gear and I noticed, people are flying a lot more. That's a good sign. People are, I mean, you guys saw the Texas Ranger baseball game the other night. I forget
Oh
what they
my
were
God,
playing,
yeah.
but they had a sellout of 40,000, I think. Now, the next night, it wasn't as many, but the Rangers, I believe, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, were sold out. So I
Yeah.
guess there's no COVID in Arlington, Texas, but we got to get back to normal. And I don't want to minimize COVID, and I don't want to minimize, um, you know, everything that's happened, unfortunately, through this whole thing. But it'll just be nice to get people back in the Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, bring kids on campus. That's been challenging.
Yeah, that shows what we've been dealing with for the last 13 months or so now, Coach, that you see a near capacity crowd like you're talking about at Globe Life Field on the opening week of baseball season, and it's unusual.
Yeah. And I don't know what it's going to look like in the fall. We were sitting here a year ago at this time and going, well, of course football is going to be fine. Of course football is going to be fine. Well, then as you got later into the spring of 20, things started going, well, I'm not sure what we're, and then all of a sudden summer of 20, and then it started, well, maybe not. Well, sure enough, August came around and we had football, but it sure wasn't the same. And I'll never forget that Temple game that I was watching up there in Temple, and they didn't even come out of the locker room because they had contact traced somebody. So it's, I think from what I understand, I think it's going to be like 50% capacity. Don't quote me on that, but I think that by the time we get to the fall, this past year we could have no fans at Dowdy-Ficklin, and then I think it graduated to 7%, I believe. So yeah, we're looking forward to it because we take a lot of our recruits there. In the fall when you're recruiting, you take those kids on the sideline at home football games.
Absolutely. East Carolina football game days are a huge selling point for every sport on campus. And, you've heard coaches say it time and again over the years, and you can see that passion of Pirate Nation with 50,000 or so strong in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
So I don't know what else you guys would like to know, but I'm excited to be the track coach here. This is my seventh, finishing up my 16th year. I'll be going into my 17th year next year. So it's, I've been, I think the longest tenured coach here at East Carolina University. Tom Morris, our tennis coach, I think was the longest tenured until he left and retired. So now it's me. I'm the longest tenured coach here, and I'm blessed. I always tell people that I don't feel like I've ever got up and worked a day in my life. This is my 35th year of coaching overall. I spent 14 years at the University of Nevada, Reno as the head coach, and this is my 16th year here. There's 30, and then I was a high school teacher coach for 5 years. So 35th year of track and field coaching, and I've loved every minute of it. Probably the biggest thing I love is just the interaction with the young people, with with the student athletes. Even though I'm 59, I feel like that they keep me very young. When you're around 18, 19, they always stay the same. We get older, they stay the same age. We get older, they stay the same age. They never change, 18 to 22. So it keeps a coach young. And one of the things that I love so much about it is that you get a chance to impact these people, and you get a chance to kind of mold them, if you will. That's exciting for me.
Now, Coach, a few minutes ago, you referenced Udon Cheek. We've had Udon on the program talk about it being a Pirate through and through. He is certainly that. Does an excellent job with your sprinters as well as some other events. But just talk about him and the rest of your coaching staff, because they certainly don't get the credit they deserve.
Absolutely, Bubba. Great question. I'm glad you brought that up. You're only as good as your weakest link, and this is not about me. I happen to be the captain of the ship, no pun intended. I happen to be the one that's orchestrating, if you will, the conductor. They're playing the music and I'm conducting, but without good help, you have nothing. And anybody that doesn't admit that's not a good leader. So My assistant coaches, Coach Price, works with my throwers, both men and women. This is Coach Price's, let's see, his 18th year. Coach Weaver works with our distance runners. Wonderful guy. This is his 6th year. Coach Cheek, as you just mentioned, Bubba, this is his 13th year. Coach Bree is the lady assistant on my staff. She has been here now for 9 years. And then Coach Jeff has been here for 5 years. He works with our male and female jumpers. But Coach Cheek is a pirate through and through. He's been here forever. Went to school here, graduated from here, met his wife here, ran for Coach Carson. And he is the definition of purple and gold. And he, I don't ever see him going anywhere anytime soon because he loves it here so much. So I'm blessed to not only have him, but I'm blessed to have all of them. We're like a football team, guys. And what I mean by that is in football, you have a D line, you have an offensive line, you have running backs, you have receivers, you have quarterbacks, you have DBs, you have, positions. Well, in our sport, you have the same thing. You have throwers, you have distance runners, you have sprinters and hurdlers and relays, you have pole vaulters, you have jumpers. So we're very similar to a football team in that all those areas are kind of team within a team. You got your D line, you got your offensive line. When you come all together like that, then you have to be ready to go. Now, the difference obviously is football is a team sport. We're kind of an individual sport. So, but yeah, assistants do a great job, Bubba. Couldn't do without them.
No doubt, Coach. We're very excited with all the success you've had. We appreciate you being here for a long, long time. And hopefully we have another 15, 20 more years with you, or maybe longer. That's our hope. We like you so much that good luck.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this in 20 years, or even 10. Hopefully someday I'm going to be out in a lake somewhere and doing some fishing. I'm from North Dakota native. I don't know if you guys have ever met it from anybody from North Dakota. I'm from Minot, North Dakota. Graduated from Minot State University. So I'm a tough North Dakotan, homegrown. That's where all my work ethic came from.
I was about to say, Coach, Mark Hessert, obviously he just retired from the Pirate Club. I don't know if you heard part of that conversation earlier, but as things were winding down, Mark was talking about how he got his real estate license. So maybe you can buy some real estate from Mark.
Maybe Mark and I'll be riding around the same car and selling real estate. Absolutely, Bubba. Mark and I are really good friends. We're personal friends. I know Mark got here way back in, I think, 1989, if my memory serves me correct, something like that. I got here in 2005. But over these past many, many years, I've become very, very good friends with Mark, and we're going to miss him. He was there a long time and did a wonderful job.
No doubt. Coach, good luck in Columbia on, I guess it's the next 2 weekends.
Yep.
And then, of course, we'll be following you, and definitely love to have you back on summertime or in the fall.
Absolutely. I appreciate both of you, and thank you for the support that you give our program and the support that you give me individually. So I'm just honored to be on. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Hope you have a great night.
All right. You too.
Take care, Coach. All right. Bye-bye. All right. That's Coach Curt Kraft there. Appreciate him very much for being on with us. And Bubba, I know that we've gone a little long, but 3 great coaches. We like, well, actually, listen to me. We had Mark Hessert. I guess he is kind of like a coach raising money. You could have that. He's been helping out with the team of the Pirate Club for a long time. And of course, we had Kaz, who is a coach, and now another coach in Coach Kraft. So another great night, right?
Absolutely. An excellent show. Appreciate those 3 gentlemen coming on, and a lot of exciting things going on right now in Pirate Nation. Just fingers crossed that we're able to be at full capacity in the fall when we open our home schedule against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Had that on my mind after talking with Coach Kraft about 3 track meets down in Columbia. The Gamecocks, of course, will be at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium week 2 of the season after we open things in Charlotte with an exciting matchup against App State.
No doubt about it. It's going to be a great football season. By the way, fans, want to remind you, Get your season tickets to 1-800-DIAL-ECU. You can go to ecupirates.com. And Bubba, before we go, again, I know I said we were running long, but coming soon, your chance to win a pair of football tickets. And I'm telling you, folks, for season tickets, you better go ahead and call in, or you have our chance to win right here, right?
Absolutely, Dave. The way that contest is going to work, we'll be detailing and outlining that for you here in the next couple weeks or so. So stay tuned, especially to our YouTube channel. So go ahead, don't wait, go ahead and subscribe right now. And then there'll be a video outlining things, the contest into football tickets in 2 or 3 weeks.
No doubt about it. And by the way, fans, once again, don't forget, as always, with tonight, good luck to the Pirates. And I know Bubba had a chance to help preview that show, right? Listen to me, preview the matchup this weekend with the Memphis Tigers. We'll have extra innings that'll be coming up.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. I was trying to take myself off mute there, but like I mentioned earlier, had the opportunity to talk to Memphis head coach Darren Schoenrock in his 17th year with the Tigers and more than 40 years in college baseball. Tremendously nice guy. Really enjoyed our conversation with him right at half an hour. Very generous with his time on game week. And the Tigers will be heading to Greenville tomorrow, that being Thursday, as they get ready to take on the 6th-ranked Pirates. 4 games this weekend at Clark LeClaire Stadium, beginning with Friday night's doubleheader.
It's going to be great. And Pirate fans, make sure that you watch and listen to those games. And you can do so, obviously, we have games 1 and 2 on ecupirates.com. ESPN Plus will have games 3 and 4. And remember, those times are 1, 4 p.m. at 11:30. And some people are asking why not all the games are on ESPN Plus. That's because of what COVID-19 once again prohibits us to have every single game because of other sports that we have to divide the time up. So obviously we're happy to have those other sports on. And so we'll do just like the rest of the nation with COVID-19, we're all doing the best we can. All right, thanks to our great guest tonight, Mark Hessert. Congratulations to him, 30 great years at the Pirate Club. Congratulations, Coach Kaz, coaching now. And we're happy for Mark Minicozzi, and we'll look forward to his season. And, of course, the season with track and field in the next few weeks will be ending. And we appreciate, of course, Coach Kraft for coming on. For Bubba Rosenbaum, I'm Dave Richmond. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night, everybody. And as always, go Pirates.
Surrounded, put your crossbones up and lean side to side. Set tone with your pirate pride. Put your crossbones up.